getting my salad order ready for Chick-fil-A. It's going to be great. I'm telling you. Healthy, healthy, healthy. The new Chick-fil-A salads coming at the end of this month include the grilled market salad, as I mentioned, Asian salad, and Cobb salad, all under 430 calories. And instead of let the salads sit all day, they're going to be prepared throughout the day. They got things like romaine and mixed baby greens that are replacing the iceberg lettuce. The fresh ingredients in the salads include strawberries, blueberries, roasted corn, bell peppers. They even have a special dressing they put on there. I think it's called tequila. I don't think it's tequila. No, I don't think so. It's I believe that's a Taco Bell. I do not believe it is a Chick-fil-A. But this is going to be, this chicken wars are heating up. Where are we headed here? I'm Michael Horn. That's Paul Stearns. What's cooking? Where are we going?
Headed to West Hollywood, California. That's where we happen to find Kyle Branche. He's the bartender over at the Gardenia Room.
Now playing in the Gardenia Room.
He's got a lot of stuff going on at the table here, and let's just find out what it is. Hey, Kyle, what's up?
Welcoming to the stage of the Gardenia Room,
Hey.
Kyle Branche.
How's
Kyle,
it going, guys?
welcome. You are the true mixologist of all mixologists. How did you start your career? How did you get involved in bartending and becoming the ultimate mixologist?
Well, I got to start in the brand new Embassy Suites Hotel in Phoenix, Arizona on Camelback Road when I was still living there before I moved to L.A. in '85. So just kind of that and a couple other places before I was bar backing in while I was working a full-time job managing a computer warehouse back then. So I just kind of went from one thing to the other and eventually came over here because my dad was working for Lockheed Aircraft at the time, and I had a place to stay, and I just kind of built up and transferred over here because the Embassy Suites at that time was owned by the Marriott Hotel, which also owned the Black Angus chain.
Ooh, I didn't know that. So Marriott owned the Embassy Suites, and then the Black Angus I didn't realize was part of that. So you became, 28 years you've been doing this stuff. When do you go from being like a bartender to what we now call mixologist? I mean, really, you've written articles about this, and the tasting panel, you had articles for like 10 years you've been writing, and all this stuff where you talk about, the newest cocktail that comes on the scene. When does it go to just being like a bartender to becoming an artist?
Well, you just kind of decide to learn as much as you can behind the bar with all of the spirits and the juices and everything. I mean, I started creating signature cocktails of my own as far back as 89, 90, something like that, because it's just the natural direction that you want to explore.
Right.
That way back then is when, I brought guava juice behind the bar and papaya and apple and grape and, some other tropical fruit juices back then. And you just kind of, decide to do something and put some mixers and some, vodkas or rums and stuff together. And this is before flavored vodkas.
Exactly. I was going to say that you kind of you were the prequel to flavored vodkas by doing your own flavoring. And really you become, and I don't think people really think about this, but a true mixologist is a chef of drinks when you get down to it, because you're bringing, as you mentioned, fruits behind the bar, berries, special mixes and blends of alcohol, and really all these vodkas that are out there now, and there's a billion of them that are all infused. You guys were the first ones to start doing this as mixologists.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and then eventually when I started working as kind of like a contributing writer with Sante magazine, and of course with the tasting panel, which is where I started out with Meredith May when she first started out with the magazine herself.
Right.
Because that's back when I was, right around the time where I just left working the bar at the famous Lakeside Golf Club in Toluca Lake.
Oh, come on. You worked there at the Lakeside Golf Club? I love that place.
Yeah, I was there for about a little over 3 years, and so that was fun, and I decided to go solo, and that's when I met her, is I sent her one of my first DVD releases because that's back when they were doing product reviews, and she asked me if I wanted to write for her, so we met at the Smokehouse.
Oh, there's a good place in Los Angeles. The place where the Captain and Tennille were discovered.
That's right. And then
who were the Captain and Tennille, Mike? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm old. Yes, they sang songs many years ago. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, and at the same time, I sent one of those to one of the editors at Sante magazine, and they asked me the same thing. So that's how I ended up writing for the magazines for 9 or 10 years, all those pieces, including a feature cover story called Mixology from Scratch with Sante that I did. That was back in 2004. So that's when I was kind of, bringing up, and now the latest generation of bartender mixologists that they call them, even though they really don't care to utilize the word mixologist because it's so media exposed that they get a little. They're kind of over it now, you know.
Right. So
But
you
that's how it's gone.
So you started with our buddy Meredith May there at Tasting Panel Magazine. Andy Blue and Meredith together doing a great job, and then Byron and his and the gang over there at Sante Magazine.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for quite a while. So is it still exciting and fun for you? Are you always looking like what's the newest, latest trend in your mind that we should look for? Because we did a broadcast one time from Canadian Club, and they were doing the cherry cask where they were infusing that into putting the whiskey there into the cherry cask and having the infusion. He says, when you go into a bar, people take note of some guy that knows what they want, and they say, I want cherry cask. And then people go, woo, what's going on? Or I want a martini, extra dry, extra olives, and somebody knows what you're talking about. What are we calling for nowadays? What's the big drink?
Well, I don't know if there's any one specific cocktail that we're all, rah-rahing on, like we did with the mojito about 8 years ago.
There you go, right?
It's one of those things where there's so many out there that it's hard for. It's like they're all jockeying for top position, and it's difficult for them to pick a winner. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because when I'm out doing my private parties, which is after I left Lakeside Golf Club, I decided to go solo.
So you're solo now. You are out. What about the Gardenia Room? You were there for a while too, right?
No, I still am. I still include that in my solo work because it's on call like everything else that I do.
Where is the Gardenia Room?
It's in Hollywood on Santa Monica Boulevard, about 40 yards east of La Brea.
So we got to come and see you there. But you do a lot of private parties, and you do a lot of catering and stuff. How do we get in touch? How does someone get that going for a party? I think you would be like the center of the show, shaking them up like Tom Cruise behind the counter there,
Well, you pretty much become, it's a performance stage to a degree, especially when you're behind there and doing it, you feel it. When I was working for Patron Spirits for about 5 years, I would work a lot of their private sponsored events in L.A., like Oscar Night at Mr. Chow, and the very first time I worked with them was, they have a rail car down at Track 13 in Union Station, and I did a party for them the first time there, working for them. So I'm just around doing a lot of things, including creating specialty cocktails at not every single event or party or wedding that I do, but they sometimes request that, and I kind of create drinks for them, or we add some classic cocktails onto the menu.
Okay, here's what we got to do, because this is a tight segment here. We're going to have you back, and I think we should even have a show with you. You should be part of our What's Cooking on Wine series / The Cocktail Report. What's your website, Kyle Branche? How can we get more information?
The website is kylescocktailhotel.com.
kylescocktailhotel.com. We're going to check you out, and we're having this man back real soon. He's our new mixologist on the show.